Welcome back, guys,
Welcome.
to Next Generation.
Our house just got painted white, guys, and we're very excited about it. So excited that we want to cover our electrical box because now it's an eyesore.
Today, we're going to be building an enclosure for our power box. I'm very excited for this, as every DIY.
So some people may need approval in order to do this, so make sure that you're checking with your electrical company that you're able to build this before you go through the trouble of doing it. Ours is going to have a door on it, so they'll still be able to access it. And we did check with our electrical company. We have a different type of meter where they don't have to come out anymore.
Our electrical box is literally exposed right on the corner of the house where everybody can see. You can also cover your gas meter because ours is also exposed. Also, I've seen people use a similar design to the way we're going to build this to cover their AC unit.
Let's get right into it and talk about our materials.
All right, so for this DIY, you only need 2 types of wood. It's a beautiful thing, very simple. We're using 1x1s and we're using 1x3s.
You can also use fence boards. And you can even cut them in half if you want them a little bit smaller, but
Ooh.
this will ensure that they're water resistant, rot resistant. And since we're building a door, you will also need hinges and a latch or a lock, a handle, whatever you would like to open and close it.
We had to go to our local hardware store for another tool rental. It's called a hammer drill. We will be using it to drill holes into our brick house. So for us, I'm gonna use lag bolts to go into the structure of the house. I'm using 3.5 inch. We live where there's a lot of wind and I don't want this ripping off the wall in a week. Also, if a hurricane comes, I just want it to last. I don't want it ripped off the wall, so I'm using lag bolts.
Our fence has ripped off twice, just to give you guys a little perspective.
And regular wood screws. I will be using 2.5 inch screws.
And then we're also gonna use a nail gun. If you don't have a nail gun at home, which we didn't, we just recently got one. If you don't have one, you can always use wood screws for the enclosure as well to add your boards. And stain and seal, or paint, whatever you would like to finish it. But I wanted it to kind of look nice and complement those colors and give a little bit of contrast. So we're gonna wood stain it instead.
I like this.
So the first thing that you want to do, obviously, is measure what you're trying to cover. We'll be making ours 37 inches high by 20 inches wide and 12 inches deep. So first off, we're going to cut our boards. We're going to start with our structure support that's going to be on the inside. So these are going to be our 1x1s.
So we're going to make 2 18-inch cuts, 6 37-inch cuts, and 4 10-inch cuts.
Next up, we're gonna cut our 1x3s, and for the left and right side, we're gonna need 22 12-inch cuts, and for the front, 11 20-inch cuts. So now that all of our boards are cut, we're gonna go ahead and stain them now before we assemble because we found this to be a lot easier from some past DIYs.
Found the hard way.
I'm using Minwax wood stain in the color Honey, and I like to apply using a cheesecloth so that I can get it to the thickness of wood stain that I'd like. So obviously if you go thicker, it'll be darker, whereas if you wipe some of the excess off, it'll be a little bit lighter of a shade. And for the 1x1s, I'm not gonna stain these. I'm just gonna use the Thompson water seal on those so that they have some protection on them.
All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install the structural boards or the skeleton of this design. First thing I wanna do is I wanna pre-drill the wood that's gonna go onto the brick wall, and then I'm gonna make some marks exactly where I wanna use the hammer drill so that I can get those holes all lined up, and it'll just make your life a lot easier when you go to screw it to the wall.
We're not trying to put multiple holes into the brick,
No.
so this is a one-time thing. We need to get it right.
I know, especially after we just had the house painted.
So here's the hammer drill rental. Supervisor here. The top part's wood, so we'll be able to drill into that. Can't really drill into that with a regular drill. You want to make sure that the tip on your hammer drill is the size of the anchors that you're going to use.
Yes, I recommend anchors. You may be thinking, well, it's brick. but I kind of like to think of it as sheetrock. It's not gonna thread the brick, okay? So think about it like that. Like when you screw a screw into wood, it threads into the wood. This isn't gonna happen in brick. That's why you're using a hammer drill. So I like to use anchors, heavy duty anchors with the lag bolts, and it won't go anywhere. It'll rip the brick wall off before it goes anywhere. So that's the key here.
Now that we have our holes, we can go ahead and stick in the anchors and screw our 1x1s onto the wall. These are our 37-inch 1x1s. And we're gonna start with one side before we add holes to both sides.
Yeah, remember guys, we pre-cut everything. So our front board's 20 inches. So we can't just go and put the other board wherever we want and hope it all works out. It doesn't work like that. Tried that, usually doesn't work in your favor, okay? Now that I have my main board secured to the brick, I'm gonna go ahead and prep the remaining part of the right side. I'm gonna take the 10-inch board and attach it to the 37-inch board, and this will make it a lot easier to attach to the ceiling, and also one of the screws will be going in the opposite direction of the other two screws that are going into the ceiling. So you have to do this before you attach it to your ceiling. All right, so now that we have most of the right side attached and secured to the wall, we're gonna go ahead and move to the left side. So step one is measure from the right side 20 inches, because remember your front board that covers everything is 20 inches. So you need to stay within that. All right, so now we've got our 20-inch mark on the ceiling. We know exactly where we need our left board to go. We're gonna follow the same process we did on the right side. We're gonna pre-drill our holes, we're gonna make our marks on the brick, and we're gonna drill with the hammer drill so that everything is prepped.
So once we have our marks, we'll add our holes with the hammer drill, add the anchors, and then add our lag bolts into that structural board and put it up on the wall.
Awesome.
We're also gonna repeat the process on the left side like we did on the right, making our L board, like I like to call it. And now we have the left and right side. Are you starting to see the vision, guys?
I see, it kind of looks like a box, sort of.
Don't learn from us. We're now taking this side off because we need to add the bottom board, and we can't do that when this one's attached to the wall. Here we go, round two.
Our front is gonna be a door. I want the frame to fit inside of the frame that's already existing on the wall so that my 20-inch boards sit nice and flush. So I'm gonna build this off the wall, and then we'll take the hinges and we'll attach it to the existing structure.
All right, moment of truth.
Right,
Let's see if it fits.
Yay, it's gonna be down like that.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
First try.
That's awesome.
I'm impressed.
I already see an issue. And we have the board mounted here.
How's it
We
gonna
gotta
open?
Yeah.
All right, change of plans.
So I'm gonna put another piece of wood here, and I'm gonna mount the hinges to that wood, and it's gonna open like this.
Once you have your frame built, now's for the exciting part. We're gonna add our 1x3 boards on there. The way we're gonna do that is we're gonna use some glue on it and then secure it with the nail gun. Like I mentioned, if you don't have a nail gun, then you can always use screws instead, or maybe even just liquid nails and clamp it all into place. These boards aren't gonna be holding much weight. They're just really there for decorative purposes, so they don't really need screws. That might be a little excess. So I added a bead of glue first. This is just easier. And now I'm using a screw as the spacer. So here we go.
All right, so now that we've got all the finishing boards, it really is starting to look good. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna attach our door using our hinges. We'll go ahead and add the latch now too, to make sure that the door can open and close and lock.
All right, let's see if this thing works, guys. I really hope it does. Don't put the glue on this side, guys. Put it on the inside board. I almost just did that. Now we're gonna try to center it
as best we can. So for the top, you can either cut a custom board, but since ours you really can't see from far away, we're just gonna paint it all white so that it blends with the overhang, or soffit, that.
So what do you guys think? Do you like it? Are you gonna make one yourself? What would you cover outside of your house using this box?
I like that.
Because we have a gas meter or so, I don't know what it is, but it's really ugly and we want to cover that too. So we're probably just gonna build this exact same box, just a larger size to put around our gas thing.
It looks really good. I think it looks awesome. I mean, it's a big addition to the house. All right, guys, well, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching Next Generation. We will always be back with more DIYs. If you have an idea, leave it in the comment below because we like to cater to you guys specifically. But if you don't worry, we won't run out of ideas.
Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye, guys.